Hello, everyone. After a brief hiatus, I am back, and today we're going to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie. There's a lot of stuff to discuss in regards to this movie. Not only the build-up and the anticipation that's been going down like the last 7-8 years or so, but also just the fact that it's taken so long for something like this to come to theaters and be a thing that exists. It was a long journey, and I want to talk about my thoughts on not only the movie but also the build-up. So this is going to be a full movie review and spoiler discussion for the Super Mario Brothers movie. If you have not seen the film, go check it out in theaters. It's out now. It'll probably be in theaters for the next month and a half or so before it's available on digital. It probably won't end up on Netflix until October. So with that out of the way, I figured what better way to come back than to start talking about the Mario movie. So let's do that. So a little bit of history. Nintendo announced in 2015, all the way back in 2015. I know it feels like yesterday, but it was already that long ago. It was like 8 years almost. Nintendo announced that they were entering a partnership with Universal Studios to not only open a few theme parks across multiple Universal Studios amusement parks, but also that they would be making an animated feature film with Illumination. And eventually that was announced to be a Super Mario movie. And of course, when this was announced, naturally, many people, including myself, as lifetime Nintendo fans, were pretty skeptical. We were pretty nervous because not only was this the first time that Nintendo would be fully involved in making a feature film, and that has its own can of worms, but also this is going to be the first time that we're having a Nintendo-related movie other than Pokemon Detective Pikachu since 1993 with the release of this hot piece of garbage, the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is now turning 30 this year, which is pretty crazy. It came out in 1993. It stars Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, and it's a complete and utter shit show. That movie is garbage. I've seen it once. I think it was a little over 10 years ago at this point. I was with my friend Billy. He brought the DVD over to my house, and we watched it. And he's like, "This is a good movie." I'm like, "No, this is not a good movie." It's not good because of the simple fact that it has the Mario name attached to it, and it's trying to take bits and pieces from the Mario source material and completely fuck it up, which is exactly what we got with that movie. The Washington Post said it's a blast. That's right on the front cover of this DVD. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, that movie was a disaster, and it was so bad, not only critically but also financially, and just through audiences, people just did not like this movie. It scared Nintendo so much. It scared them away from making anything film related until now. It took 30 years from the release of that movie to now for us to finally have another shot at a Mario movie in theaters. And thankfully, it's fully animated. We don't have to worry about them trying another live-action disaster because, let's face it, there's only so much you can do with Mario in live action. And not to say that that was the best attempt. Obviously, if the right people were behind it, it probably could have been a lot better. But it was not good, and Nintendo obviously saw that, and they wanted nothing to do with live action films, or any films rather up until now. So, yeah, so that's the history of Nintendo's history with feature films, and hopefully, because of this movie, we will get more. I'm very hopeful for that, as I actually had a really good time with this movie, and I will get into that. We still have a bit more to discuss. The cast was announced, I believe, at the somewhere in early 2022. I can't exactly remember when it was, but it was through a Nintendo Direct, and it kills me that I did not do a reaction video to that Direct because I easily could have, but I just didn't. That would have been perfect gold. I would have thrown in the reaction here. I did a little live Snapchat clip of me laughing my ass off at the idea of Keegan Michael Key being Toad, and then as soon as Seth Rogen Donkey Kong popped up on the screen, I just burst out in laughter, and I'm like, bro, this is real life. I can play it for you right now. Ha! 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 Bro, this is real life. I put that on TikTok and it got like, I think like 20,000 views or something. I can probably check right now. I honestly cannot remember how many views it has. I used to have it pinned. Damn it! Now I gotta scroll. Through. When the fuck did they do this? Oh yeah, it has 21,900 views at this point on TikTok. So it was a bit of a banger. Naturally so, because of the idea of Seth Rogen playing Donkey Kong was really fucking funny. And I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way that we're getting a Mario movie and it's got all these celebrity voices and these are the choices. But lo and behold, that was the announcement. It was initially supposed to come out in December of last year. That ended up not happening. Miyamoto made an announcement via Twitter a few months prior to that saying that they would have to delay the movie by a few more months because it wasn't ready. And honestly, I'm glad that they did that because it could have been a disaster otherwise. Probably would just wouldn't. It honestly would have just been unfinished because like all the voice lines are done. It's just a matter of animating the movie at that point. So I'm glad that they delayed it, gave it some more time, and now we have it. And it was a really fun time. Thankfully, the first trailer was really exciting, especially because I actually went out to the Nintendo New York store. Their flagship retail store in New York City. And I actually got to watch it with a bunch of Nintendo fans. It was a really fun time. If you haven't seen, I did put out a video on my main YouTube channel of me reacting to that at the store with everyone there. Also, a couple other content creators were there, Alex CND, Jacob Zacharina. So I also hung out with them after. We went out to dinner. Also, Irving showed up later on. Shout out to Irving. It was a really good time. That whole day was just a blast. It was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I didn't have work that day, so I was like, fuck it, let me go in the city. And I ended up spending a lot more time there than anticipated, but I had such a blast. So shout out to those guys. Also, welcome back, Alex, again, to content creation. But yeah, so that was that. And then over the last couple months, we've gotten some more trailers. I've done reactions to those trailers over on my main channel. So if you want to check those out, by all means, I'll leave them in the description of this episode so you can check them out. And yeah, it's just been anticipation. And the more we've seen of this movie, I've honestly gotten a lot more excited for it. Like when this movie was announced, I was scared. I was horrified. I'm like, no, they're gonna fuck it up. It's gonna be bad because not only was Illumination making it, and they don't have the greatest track record. But then I thought about it, and it's like they just came out with Minions: The Rise of Gru, and it was actually pretty good. Like, like I actually had a lot of fun with that movie. It was a lot better than the first Minions, and it was a lot better than Despicable Me 3. And I think lately Illumination and DreamWorks too, with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, they've been on a pretty good track record. I think they're in a bit of a renaissance, and I honestly, it gave me a bit more hope for the Mario movie, and thankfully, it delivered, at least to what you can really expect out of a movie like this. But right beforehand, I went a little crazy. I bought some figures here. I've got them stacked. I also got this popcorn bucket today. It's the question mark block from the Mario movie, and it's even got imprinted. It says the Super Mario Brothers movie, and then like the logo and all that. It's an AMC Theaters product, so there's that. I want to show you guys. So I got each of the figures. These are like $20 a piece, which I'm a little disappointed by. I wish they were at least like $10, $15 because the regular Mario figures that they have out in stores now in the last couple of years, they're made by Jakks Pacific. They're made by the same company. But these ones are marked at $20. They have these like special boxes and stuff. They try to make them look like really high quality, like those, Japanese imported figures and all that, like Figuarts or Figmas or something. And I think it works. I think that's great. It gives more like oomph to the figures. It's not just ones being thrown on a shelf. So there's Mario. We got Luigi. He looks freaking sweet. I love the look of this. He looks awesome. We also have Princess Peach. She looks great too. Another thing about these is they have these eyes and they follow you wherever you look. And I'm like looking right now, and she's like I'm like moving it, and she's like staring at me. I'm like, yo, chill out with that. It's like the Uncle Sam poster, you know, the one. And then Toad doesn't have that because his eyes are a lot different from the other characters. But there's Toad. So they came out with 4 of these figures. They also came out with like some small ones. They're like compatible with like they're like pop open play sets and stuff. I didn't want to go too crazy. I was already going too crazy buying these at full price. But the one I was most excited for, this is actually the first one I got. This is a Bowser figure. It's like a deluxe. It's like this is only $10 more than the other ones I just showed you. But this one is cool because you can put like water in the back of his shell, and then you press a button and it lights up, and it's got this like vapor that comes out of it. It looks like he's breathing out fire. I have it in the box still, so I haven't been able to test it myself, but I've seen videos, and they even show a little sample on the back of the box. This shit is cool. Like, I would have killed to have this as a kid, so I bought it. But yeah, that's the stuff I bought right before watching the movie, and I also got this popcorn bucket today, like I mentioned. And yeah, so that was like my anticipation for the movie. It just kept getting more and more hyped up, you know, as the film got closer and closer to release. And now that I've seen the movie, I went and saw it with my brother and his friend Sebastian. Yeah, I had a really good time with this movie. A lot more than I anticipated. I will say this, though. This will be like my spoiler-free thoughts on the film real quick. If you're going into this movie expecting it to be this dramatic, epic, cinematic masterpiece, you're going to be sorely disappointed. That's not what this movie is, and it doesn't need to be. This is a fun time. It's a love letter to Nintendo fans and Mario fans. Like myself, I absolutely adored this movie from beginning to end. For what it was. Obviously, there are parts of it that I didn't like as much. Like, it's not a perfect film by any means, but I had such a good time with it. For what it is, for the wait, I think it was worth it. I had such a blast. I think as a first attempt by Nintendo to be fully involved with an animated movie, I think they hit it out of the park. This was a really good time, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds, because it seems like they're building something here. Like they're definitely planning a sequel. There's a lot of stuff that they could pull from, not to mention the amount of other Nintendo IPs that they could make movies out of, like Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox, Kirby, all of these different IPs, even Splatoon or Animal Crossing. This was a really good time, and I can't stress that enough. I had such a good time with this movie, and I just loved it all the way through. It was a blast. I had such a good time. The story is very generic, but at the same time, most Mario games do have generic stories, but then you got to think, wait, this is a movie, not a video game. But then again, it's like, dude, who fucking cares? Like, it's a Super Mario movie. Like, are you expecting like groundbreaking fucking cinema? Like, come on, man. Lighten up. Just turn your brain off and have fun. Like, I think the problem is people have gotten too invested in, like, wanting everything to be cinema. And, of course, like, a lot of things lately have not been the greatest. A lot of it's been rushed and all that. But this is a special case. This is not like that. This movie has been in the works since at least 2015. And I think they paid it off. I think this was a really good one. There are plenty of Easter eggs throughout the movie. Lots of different little pieces of music in the score that they throw in, like the Captain Toad theme and the overworld from Mario 3. Of course, the overworld from the original Super Mario Brothers, a lot throughout the movie. Chris Pratt as Mario wasn't actually terrible. I figured the worst, and I mean, like, when that first trailer dropped, you can even see my reaction. I'm kind of just like, but honestly, he wasn't that bad. Like, I wasn't even upset or anything. that it wasn't like a guy going, "It's a me, a Mario," like the whole movie. Like I actually didn't mind him all that much. I think people are overreacting, and of course, yeah, Chris Pratt is in a lot of animated movies nowadays. He's in a lot of things. I think people are just kind of tired of seeing Chris Pratt, but honestly, I didn't mind it. I enjoyed Chris Pratt Mario a whole lot. Charlie Day as Luigi was incredible. I'm not too familiar with Charlie Day. I've never seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I know that's a great show that he's a part of. I will eventually get around to watching it, but it makes me want to watch it more now, just because of Charlie Day. I think I've seen him in some press stuff and all that for the movie, and he just seems like a great guy, and I want to see more of his work. So I will probably be doing that sooner or later. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not in the movie that much because Luigi gets kidnapped by Bowser instead of Peach. Peach is actually more of a heroic character rather than a damsel in distress, and I think that works. And Miyamoto, I saw some interviews where Shigeru Miyamoto was saying that that was always kind of the plan for Peach. Like, she wasn't always supposed to be a damsel in distress. It was just more of like the hardware limitations of like older systems, as well as, they wanted to make it really simple. Female heroes are badass. We got Samus Aran, Black Widow, Wonder Woman, the fucking list goes on. There are plenty of them out there. And Peach, I think, is a great addition to that. She's had her own game on the DS, which I've never played, but I've heard good things. And honestly, I don't mind her not being the damsel in distress. I think it puts a nice little twist on the plot of this film. Obviously, this is not a copy paste from the games because that would have just been way too simplistic. They do get a little creative. They do change the canon up a bit. For example, Donkey Kong is actually the son of Cranky Kong and not the grandson. So there's that. Little things like that. And that, honestly, that stuff doesn't even really matter that much. Like, I honestly couldn't care less about that. Anya Taylor-Joy did a really great job voicing Peach, though. She brought a lot of life to the character. I think she did a pretty great job. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad was almost unrecognizable. I think that's more of just them pitching his voice up a little bit. I'm honestly kind of glad that it wasn't like high-pitched Toad throughout the whole movie. That might have gotten a little annoying. But I think it's a nice balance, and I think he did a really great job. He was pretty funny throughout the movie. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong was probably my least favorite out of all of the main cast. It just felt like Seth Rogen. Like, how people were saying, oh, it's just going to be Chris Pratt Mario. It felt a little more like Mario. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, though, is not the same. He literally even does the Seth Rogen laugh at one point in the movie. And it's like, come on, like, be a little more creative here. Like, it kind of felt like he was just phoning it in. And I even saw in an interview that he was doing, press for the movie, saying that Donkey Kong throws barrels and doesn't like Mario. And there is so much more to his character that they just don't really explore in this movie. It's really generic and all that. And honestly, if we're starting from the ground up, I understand that's fine, but I feel like there's just so much more to the Donkey Kong universe, especially. And there are rumors of a spin-off Donkey Kong movie starring Seth Rogen happening. I don't know how true that is, but it is possible that could be a thing. I hope that if that is true and that does happen, we do get to explore a lot more of Donkey Kong's history, and we get to see him fleshed out a lot more, because this movie just wasn't it. I was honestly surprised he had a really big role in this movie, but I mean, I get it, because Donkey Kong is as old as Mario when it comes to games they've been in, and they were basically the original two even before Luigi. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't vibing with Seth Rogen Donkey Kong that much. I really wanted to, but I don't know. It could have been so much better. I will say, though, Jack Black as Bowser is the best part of this movie. He nailed it. He fucking killed it. You can tell he had such a good time with this role. He went all the way out. The freaking musical numbers and everything. It was such a grand experience. Even like honestly, they could make a whole movie with just Jack Black as Bowser, and I will be in a seat in that theater. I will do it. I wasn't expecting the wedding subplot of this movie that they kind of hid from the trailers. Even going as far as to have his wedding outfit from Super Mario Odyssey, I think was a nice touch. That part of the movie was not expected, but I gladly took it. I was really happy with that. Even the smaller parts of this movie, like the little flashback with Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. I felt bad for Baby Luigi. Some fucking kid kicked over his block castle, whatever the fuck he was doing, and then Mario came in and saved him and made the kid run away. Like, I thought that was really sweet. The Luma that's in this movie was hilarious. I have a pretty dark sense of humor. I always have, honestly. So hearing a little cute voice saying things like, "Oh, I can't wait for the sweet release of death. I want to die." I ate that shit up. That shit was funny. I'm looking at Brian next to me, and he's like cracking up laughing. And we're like, damn, like this shit is dark. Like they had like a little piece of it in the trailer. So like I kind of knew what to expect, but like they left a lot of the funnier parts out of the trailers. And I'm glad that they did, because yeah, that was a completely unexpected part of this. I think prior they hadn't shown the Luma in any of the trailers, and he was just a part of the Happy Meal toy set. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, are they going to throw Mario Galaxy stuff in here?" And other than the little Luma and having a Mario Galaxy track in the credits, that was it. And honestly, I think we're fine with that. I think we'd be overstepping if we just threw in a bunch of Mario Galaxy elements in the first movie. I think that would probably be better off in a sequel, if I'm being completely honest. Speaking of Happy Meal toys, I completely forgot that I got these back in December, because the movie was supposed to come out in December. We got Luigi and Peach. I only got these two. I have a McDonald's near where I work, and I went in there one day. I was like, I'd like to buy all of the Mario movie toys you have. And the girl at the desk, she just gave me them for free, and they only had two. I was like, that's fine. So yeah, I got those, and they're okay. They're kind of boring compared to Happy Meal toys I got as a kid, but it is what it is. They're Mario collectibles, I guess. Charles Martinet, the original voice of Mario and Luigi, is also in this movie. He plays two characters. He plays this Italian guy that's in the beginning of the film after they watch the, by the way, beloved plumbing commercial, which is a complete homage to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, which they had shown in a bit of a promotional thing before the movie had come out. So we all knew about that, but it was still amazing nonetheless. Like, they did not have to do that. Nintendo usually doesn't acknowledge those 90s cartoons. So the fact that they did, and even having the lady in the commercial being the original voice of Princess Peach in those cartoons was a nice touch as well. Charles Martinet also plays Mario's dad in the movie. So that was really nice. Obviously, of course, I wish Charles Martinet was like the main part of this movie, but I understand, celebrity voices, they get people in seats, but at the same time, it's a Mario movie. Like, how can you not have the Mario movie without the voice of Mario? But they gave him an opportunity to be in it. Obviously, I wish he had a bigger role. Maybe for a sequel, he could play like Wario or Waluigi, but it's something. I'm just glad that they gave him some acknowledgement, if anything. I also love the little homages to some of the members of the Kong family, even having the DK rap directly from DK64 in this movie. Unfortunately, for some reason, Grant Kirkhope was not credited for it, as he should have been. Shame on you, Illumination. They take, I think 2 or 3 tracks directly from the Mario games, and in the credits, they are listed, but it just says the title of the song and what game they're from. There's no thing like saying, oh, Koji Kondo did the score for this, or Grant Kirkhope did the score for this. Not there at all. So I don't know what that's about. I'm a little disappointed by that. Also, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, and Chunky Kong made very brief appearances in this movie, which I was very happy about. Seeing Chunky Kong for the first time since DK64 was honestly really cool to see. I figured he was dead because that's what Brental Floss told everybody. So it was really nice to see him. When the credits rolled, I was over the moon with the amount of different Mario songs that were playing throughout it, and all the different beautiful scenery pieces that we got of all the different Mario worlds and all that. I thought that was incredible. Not to mention the credit to Satoru Iwata. I was not expecting to see that, but it made me nearly tear up because of the amount of stuff that man did for Nintendo, being the president for so long, and not only, bringing us amazing Nintendo Directs and tons of memes, but also just being a great stand-up guy all around. That man cut his pay by nearly 50% just so everyone at Nintendo could keep their jobs when the Wii U was failing. Like that man is a hero, and I miss his presence. It really hasn't been the same since he passed on. Even that, and especially with Reggie retiring, Nintendo has felt more corporate in the last few years. I just had a freaking good time with this movie, man. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And there was a post-credit scene too, because of course there was. Thanks, Marvel. You've made every freaking Hollywood studio decide, oh, let's throw a little teaser at the end of our movie. So they did. And, beneath Brooklyn, we have a little Yoshi egg. So, freaking Yoshi is going to be in the sequel. Here's a plush. Here's an amiibo. Here's a figure. I hid them in the popcorn bucket. So you probably heard the noise when I picked it up before. That's what was inside. Thought I would just put that out there. So, yeah, Yoshi's going to be in the sequel. If there is a sequel, I'm sure there will be. This movie's probably going to make a shit ton of money. It's a well-known IP. There's a lot of confidence in it. Sure, the critics are pissed off that it's not a cinematic masterpiece, but what did you expect? It's a Super Mario movie. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm seeing it's like a 46 or 48% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and although it does have an audience score of 98. So, I mean, yeah, like most people love it, and I'm one of them. I don't care that it's not a cinematic masterpiece. I just had a really good time, and that's all I was looking for with this movie. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Overall, I loved it. If you haven't seen it and you somehow decided to watch all of this without seeing the movie, why would you do that? Now you know what happens in the movie. I need you to do me a favor and go watch it. Go check it out, please. It's a good time. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, turn on post notifications so you know when I am putting out an episode next. I'm looking to put out some more stuff really soon. Stay tuned as I'll be covering Breaking Bad in a later episode, probably coming out within the next week or two. Guest episodes will also be slowly returning as the weather gets nicer and schedules are freed up. I've also been working a lot, and I just haven't really felt like the passion for making these for a little while. So I'm starting to finally get back into the swing of things. So I do apologize for kind of disappearing for about 2 months there, but I will hopefully be coming back strong for the rest of the year. I can't promise weekly uploads or anything, but I'm going to try my best to put out as much as I can. But I'm going to make sure that they are quality. I'm not just going to throw out a bunch of trash just to put something out. Like I want to put more effort into these. I want to do more with them. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know in the comments whether you're listening on Spotify through the Q&A tab or if you are watching the YouTube video. Let me know what you thought of this movie. Let me know all your thoughts on it, whether you liked it, you hated it, whether you're a lifelong Mario or Nintendo fan or not. Let me know what you thought of this film. I'll also leave a poll on the community tab for the YouTube channel. I'm going to put it up there, asking if you enjoyed the film or you're going to wait for streaming, whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation. I'd love to be able to interact with you guys, and there's a great way to do it. Just leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Be sure to also check out the podcast on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I'd also like to say thanks for over 600 followers on Instagram and over 130,000 views on that one clip about my hometown. So if you've come from that, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. And yeah, with that said, thank you all so much for sticking around, tuning in. More episodes to come in the near future, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.